Welcome back to the C-Space Studio. I'm James Kotecki. This is CES 2026, and I'm here with a returning favorite guest of ours, Ali Miller, the GM of Advertising at Instacart. A new title since we last chatted here in the C-Space Studio,
right.
I believe.
Yeah.
But you've been with Instacart, and we're excited to keep talking with you about the state of retail media and everything you're up to, so welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be back.
Okay, so retail media, big topic. What's your perspective on it here as we sit at the beginning of 2026?
So in 2025, what we really started to see come to life was the outcome of the explosion of retail media over the past couple years. So of course everyone loves retail media, right? It's, highly measurable, highly performant. But what happened was you started to see literally hundreds of retail media networks popping up everywhere. And so in 2025, from the Instacart perspective, we actually started really broadening how we think about our solutions. So we started, building all of these foundations with our on-site marketplace, 1,800 retailers. It's really required us to take a very optimization forward approach over the past few years as we built out our ad system. Yeah. And now what we're doing is we're taking that foundation and we're expanding it to a broader Instacart ads ecosystem. So we're now powering those same ad solutions on the sites of 240 plus e-commerce partners. So folks like Thrive Market, Uber Eats, Hy-Vee, and really making it much easier to address this fragmentation in the space that has become really difficult for brands and agencies to manage. Yeah. And so I'm really excited that coming into 2026, we've now set that foundation of that ecosystem, making it really easy for brands to buy in one place and show wherever their products are available, reaching consumers and driving results. Yeah. And now we're further expanding into omnichannel, in store, and then of course off-platform, which I know we'll talk about too.
Of course. And so is that, is the decision for brands now, it's less about like, let me choose one out of 200 or so, and is it maybe more of a competition around folks that are kind of rounding these up and providing those maybe one-stop shops? And is that where the competition kind of lies for you and where you're thinking about being competitive?
I think there's a lot of value there. So of course there's always going to be, the big retail media networks that brands choose to invest in individually, but especially for, when you think about a mid-market or a local independent grocer, how are they going to be able to compete alone? And so one of the things that really inspires me and my team is that we're actually providing tools to help those grocers still participate in retail media without contributing to fragmentation and still be able to, achieve revenue results, of course, that really matter to them, maintain those direct relationships with brands that really matter to them, but make it really easy to drive that demand to their owned and operated sites while also making it easier for brands to drive results at greater scale and use all of that optimization and kind of foundations that we've built.
Let's talk about the data that's probably the foundation of that optimization.
Yes.
What kind of data are you using and how are people using it?
So like I mentioned, we've started really with our foundations of the Instacart marketplace and working with that, billion item catalog across 1,800 retailers. It creates an incredible foundation of data. We of course have the catalog data itself. We have, information around what's bought with what pairs well together, what's driving conversion. And so all of that data, like you said, is really the foundation of all of the optimizations and serving and capabilities that we've built across the ecosystem. In addition, we've really increasingly focused in the last year on building solutions that are just based on that data alone as a product that kind of stands on its own 2 feet. So over the course of the last year, we introduced our consumer insights portal, which actually offers, really insightful information around what are substitutions that, consumers might be willing to consider if their favorite item is unavailable. Is it in your brand? Is it outside your brand? Are consumers so loyal to your brand that if your item isn't on the shelf, they'll walk away and not buy anything? These are really kind of valuable insights that we're now able to offer as an individual product. And then finally, building on that, even just today, we announced our Data Hub, which is our clean room solution that will actually now help brands and agencies who want to get into more of that kind of granular information, combining Instacart data with their own first-party data and get into deeper insights that still, privacy safe and still, of course, respects, consumer information and regulations and all of that, but provides this kind of next step of activation and kind of measurement that has been really, really important for brands and agencies to kind of take things to the next level.
Let's talk in-store. That's something you and I have talked about before. What are you excited about when it comes to in-store retail media as far as advertising that's displayed on screens and other places when people actually go into physical environments?
I feel like 2026 is going to be the year of us all talking about in-store. I think it really is the next frontier of retail media. So there's still so much to do with on-platform and with this ecosystem like I talked about, but now expanding that into the aisles of the grocery store and looking at how do we add value to the consumer journey, to the shopping journey that's directly in the aisles of the store. In past years, we've talked about our smart carts, our caper carts. Yeah. And I think at this time last year, we were talking about just kind of getting started with the first ad formats that we were launching on those carts.
This is a shopping cart with a screen on it. That people
Exactly. So it's a shopping cart with a screen on it. It has, weights and measures integrated into the cart, so you can put your produce in. It scans items as they come in. And so one of the things that's so cool about it is it's just you pushing the cart, so it can actually provide personalized recommendations. It can provide pairing suggestions, timely offers based on which aisle you're turning into. And so all of this sort of magic of the online experience becomes really accessible in a way that's familiar to consumers who are pushing a shopping cart and just are able to see these recommendations as they shop. And so fast forward to today, we've now been able to launch our shoppable display ads directly on the Caper cart. We're seeing them perform really well with great engagement, physical add to cart reactions. It's fun to measure that in a physical way, not just as a button. And so, we're in nearly 100 cities now with Caper. There's a lot of exciting scale ahead of us. We just announced Wakefern is a new partner of ours, so lots ahead of us as we look toward the rest of the year. And I really think that this is a differentiator in the in-store space because it is so highly measurable and personalized in a way that screens just simply cannot be. There's certainly value there as well, but I'm super excited about being able to offer this at a greater scale over the course of the year.
We talk about different, you're talking about ad formats. There's an interesting, blurring that happens when we talk about shoppable content and social experiences where people are engaging. So they're going onto these social experiences and they're viewing that content, but then at the end of that, there's a retail component as well. So it's a blur. It's not necessarily just an ad or just a content experience. So how is Instacart playing in that arena?
I love this aspect of retail media generally and kind of shoppable media because it really does kind of underscore that ads don't need to just be, something screaming at you over the surface or annoying you. It's truly information, and it's truly can be like the fun part of grocery shopping and the fun part of discovery. And so we've really taken that to heart on our marketplace and kind of on our own app. But in addition to that, we've really started to now expand into off-platform integration. So can't talk about social without talking about TikTok. So in the last few months, we announced an end-to-end integration, as we're calling it, with TikTok that actually brings Instacart data to life inside the TikTok Ads Manager directly, which can allow advertisers on TikTok to use Instacart data for optimization and for the smart campaigns that TikTok actually offers, and closed loop data that can help them track how purchases are actually performing as a result of the ads that they're showing. And so to your point, it's just these lines are blurring, consumers are jumping around across the traditional funnel, and any moment could be a moment for inspiration, for purchase, for both. And so the approach we've really been taking is how do we make sure we're enabling advertisers and agencies to reach consumers where they are in a way that's super easy, deeply integrated into where they're already buying, and to a consumer helps to make that moment shoppable and fun.
So let's talk about how AI plays into all of this. Where is AI delivering the most value then for you? Is it on the creative side, the measurement? Where is it?
Yes. So I'd say, on the AI side, I've started to think about it kind of in three buckets. So the first is everything behind the scenes. So all the stuff you don't think about or need to be, yelled at is AI, So like I mentioned, we've really taken all of these data foundations that we have to drive, optimization, ranking, relevance, all of that kind of behind the scenes, advanced ML stuff that we've been investing in for so long.
And just to pause on that for a second, is the AI sometimes surfacing insights or effectively recommending that you do things or spend money in a certain way that you as the human would never do? And maybe is it even almost inexplicable, but you're like, well, eventually you just come to trust that the AI is onto something.
Yeah, I think the piece that is really exciting for me when we talk about these behind the scenes recommendations is it's kind of over and above the ML that we've already been using. So how do we kind of take the relevance, the ranking, and actually add in all of that sort of real world context and connections that LLMs and the latest and greatest technology and models can provide? So just to take an example, enhancing the way that we determine relevance of ads in a given experience on Instacart, we now use AI capabilities as part of that process rather than just wholesale kind of sending it over. So I think that's kind of the first piece, is just more relevant recommendations, better ad experiences that are kind of powered behind the scenes. The second big one is everything around kind of advertiser-facing tools and productivity, and this is where I like to talk about it as AI that works for you. It's very much focused on areas where, particularly when we talk about challenger brands or emerging brands who just don't have a ton of time, how do we make it easier to set up a campaign, get recommendations, set up landing pages for display campaigns? We're using AI in these different areas right now to be able to explain, for example, hey, you're not going to be able to likely hit this target return on ad spend. Do you want to adjust it? do you want to use a specific feature that will help you get more out of your ad campaigns? And as we continue to scale to more and more emerging brands, it really helps them to kind of take full advantage of the platform. So I love this stuff because it just kind of creates a little bit more of a personalized interaction with enterprise tooling. And then there's the big one, which is conversational agentic experiences, which we're all kind of figuring out as an industry right now. And this is an area where we're absolutely going to be working directly with partners in terms of understanding what's going to resonate with both an advertiser and also, most importantly, with a consumer.
Well, we're going to have to leave it on that cliffhanger and have you tell us next year exactly what you did with all of that.
Yes.
And we're so excited to have you back here again, and we hope that you join us again.
Thanks so much
Miller
for having
of Instacart.
me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for joining us right here in the C Space studio. I'm your host, James Kotecki, talking to media marketing, advertising, and branding leaders all day today and tomorrow. This is CES 2026. More after this short break.